Welcome everybody to a deep video that's possibly going to be a little bit controversial. I apologise for the fading light of the evening. Believe it or not, the time right now is actually 4:24 in the afternoon. Welcome to the UK. We're not here to complain though, I'm just going to apologise for the bad video quality. Hopefully the knowledge shared is going to make it worth it. I want to talk today about the concept of The Matrix, right? The Matrix. Now obviously the concept of The Matrix is based on the film The Matrix, which came out in 1999, 2001, something like that. However, the concept of The Matrix is something that has been popularized on the internet in a lot of ways. First of all, there's this concept of, the red pill and the blue, I don't know what it is, the red pill and the blue pill, all these different things. That's referred to often in terms of dating. But I think the way that The Matrix was made mainstream was by the uprising of Andrew Tate. It was a big point of his, Matrix this, Matrix that, and yes, there is an element of humour to it, but honestly I think there is an element of truth to it. Now, what is The Matrix and how do we categorise it? Now, obviously your Andrew Tates like to speak about it as one thing. I have my own view of it. I refer to The Matrix as the set designed path and the parameters set to keep you on it. So, let me quickly speak about that and a few examples of it. And I don't mean this in any kind of a conspiracy way. I mean it in just, if I explain them, you guys will completely understand where I'm coming from. So, undeniably in the set design path, we have school. We all start in school. In the UK, preschool starts at age 3. Most kids go to it. So that's age 3 to, I might be wrong, but I think it's 5. 3 to 5 or 6. Then we have primary school up to, I think, again, it's been years, so don't quote me on it exactly, but I think that's up to about 11, 12. Then we have secondary school in the UK, which is up to 16. And that's when life really starts to get Matrix. Because even in secondary school, yeah, you've got your exams, and no, that's Matrix exams to an extent, but you're playing about with your friends, you're just having a laugh, you're getting into stupid fights about nothing, you're just messing about. Life means nothing, you got no bills, you got no expenses. It's the best time in some ways. Now, admittedly, I wouldn't go back to school, and I think people who say, school was the best time of my life, don't ask me why it's got that impression, apparently it just has. I think those are the people who have not moved away from anything since school. So I'm not going to say it's the best time, but there is a lot of value in that freedom and that free time. But coming out of school, then you're into college in the UK, which is not university like it is in America. College is its own thing, where you do some different exams. And past college, it was a very weird motorbike. Past college, then you go into university. But basically, once you do that, you're already set, right? Because from college, at the end of GCSEs, which are like the UK's version of, I think it is American GEDs, if you're from America, basically high school qualifications. Past that, you move into like focusing on a career. So from school, you do a very comprehensive education. This is obviously going to be true in most countries around the world. English, maths, science, all this sort of stuff. Coming into college, you then focus very much. So I did specifically business, law, and sociology. That was my 3 core subjects. I did nothing else. Then you go into your degree, which is even more specialised, where you do, for me, business. For you guys, it might be art, architecture, agriculture, whatever. So you're very much on a path. Now, life from this point gets even more Matrix, because remember, this path is leading you into a career. Then you're into this career. And then obviously from there are certain things, well, now you need to have, you're a career professional. There's almost a culture in these places. I've seen it and lived it, and I don't care, right? My car is 30 years old. And a lot of people like it because it's gone past the point of depreciation where financially it's worthless. To me, it's worth everything. It's a brilliant car. But it's gone past the age of being so old and worn out and ancient. It's now like a classic. It's cool. But when I used to drive an old Volkswagen Golf that was only about 10 years old, 16 years old it was, so about 17 now, it was looked down upon by these sort of people. Because it's a crappy old car, right? So there's a culture then to buy a certain car. Then you mix with these circles. There's a culture to buy a certain house. Now, obviously, these are kind of pushed by the people themselves, but it's because the system is set up around them. The golden system, the golden guy or girl, but we'll use the man as an example, because I am a man, right? Newsflash, I'm a man. Got a lot of respect for anybody else, but here's the thing. I can only give the experience that I've given if I want to be honest, right? It really is going dark fast now. Apologies for that. Yeah, so for me, it really is. You go to school, college, whatever, get a job, then you're supposed to get a wife or a girlfriend that's serious, then you get a mortgage, then like I say, you need one of these flash cars, big Audi or Mercedes or something stupid like that. Maybe invest a little bit in the S&P and retire a happy man. But increasingly people are away from this idea, and again, I think this is an undeniable life path because most people follow it. 9 to 5, career progression, career development. There is a matrix of sorts. There is a system. And as someone who's gone down the route of being a business owner myself, you would not believe, it's almost comical, the pushback you get, not from just the systems, and we'll get into that in a second, but from your peers, and even from certain family members. Now, fortunately for me, I have parents who are very much go for it. Especially my mum, massive shout out to my mum, right? She is a big pusher of, you've got one life. If you don't want to sit in an office, don't make it your first choice. Go do what you want to try. Maybe it's good advice, maybe it's not. But here's the thing. A lot of people have family members that will push back. You want to start a business, you're going to get laughed out. I got laughed out, not by my mum, not by my dad, by certain family members, I'm not going to lie, by certain friends. You get laughed out, basically. So there's a culture against starting it. Now, if you're secured or assured enough in your own beliefs, does not matter at all. I couldn't care less. I've done what I've done. I've made money. If you are not so assured, you're going to be defeated by that. So the Matrix has kind of attacked your mind in a way, right? You're now not going to start a business that you're going to start or build a career or move abroad. All of these things are faced with a lot of backlash. Trust me, they are. So all of this is part of the Matrix. Then we talk about systems in place. And I don't like to really go down this avenue, but these are facts, not conspiracies. Once you start to make a business by yourself, like I have done, there are a lot more complications. Maybe not in other countries, and I've heard that Dubai, for example, is very good, but then you've got to be the real matrix breaker of leaving your entire country to move halfway around the world where the culture is going to be different and it's going to be a lot more expensive to live. There's benefits and drawbacks of that, so I'm not getting into that here. My point is this: when you start a business, certain taxes, for example in the UK, you get past 85,000, or I think it's actually 90 now, but let's face it, inflation's been more than 5,000 per 85, so obviously it's not even a justified rise, but long story. You know, you're going to be paying value-added tax at 20%. That's an extra 20% costs or expenses to factor in, or extra 20% taxes. Now, there are certain ways to mitigate this, and obviously I'm gonna. It's not for my channel. I don't speak about that kind of stuff. But extra taxes for business owners. It's a lot more difficult to be a business owner in a number of fronts. Financing, finding money on loans if you need it. I don't, but some people will. More difficult. Mortgages, hell of a lot more difficult. Now, I understand why, obviously. But you see what I mean? So you're kind of channeled into a path, and there's very hard incentives to get away from it. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. So me, I don't want a mortgage right now. I don't really care for that. But also I understand that I probably couldn't get one, if I'm honest, because of the businesses that I run. Maybe that will change. And of course I do have a job as well, but you get what I mean. I couldn't use my online income, even if it's 10 grand a month, likely to secure a very good mortgage. It's just the way it seems to be. I've tried, I've looked into it. Not that I'm necessarily considering it, but I just thought, well, let's see. So there are systems that definitely keep you in place. I think this is almost undeniable. It is undeniable. And I don't want to focus too much on these systems, but here's what people don't necessarily understand. There is a matrix of sorts. Whether it's intentional or not, there is a matrix of sorts that is going to keep you on a certain life path. You are intended to be a 9 to 5. You are intended to get a mortgage that benefits the banks and pushes up the price of property. You are intended to buy this car that's going to actually bankrupt you or make your expenses significantly higher than they need to be. This is all by design in a way. Undeniably, I think. I think it's undeniably. And again, whether it's directly by design or whether it's just a fact of how life has turned out in this part of the world, these are systems and procedures in place undeniably, I think. So how do we get about beating this? Well, number one, a lot of people are afraid to go against the grain. And like I say, there are actually some genuine, quantifiable real-world consequences, i.e. having to deal with corporation or business taxes, maybe value-added taxes, maybe having an increased rate of tax yourself, maybe having to move halfway around the world to go to a more tax-friendly place. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but a lot of people choose to, right? All of these different things. Or the status. I know people who have done it, young people my age, whether it's right or wrong, maybe they're clever and I'm stupid. But I know people who have bought a mortgage, regretted it, they're paying it off now for the next 25 years. They've got no location flexibility, despite what they may be seeing in the condition of the country or lifestyles, whether they like it or not. It's getting really dark, guys, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. They're going to be stuck here for the next, 20 years minimum. Whether that's okay for them or not, they know it and they see it as a problem. But at the same time, they are validated by their purchase. People look at them differently, even if they're broker than me. And a lot of them obviously will be, even if they're working more hours, because their mortgages and the cost of living is so high. But they're looked upon in a way that I would never be, as a small business owner, just trying to get by and save up some money, a lot of money. So I don't care about a mortgage, I don't care about a brand new car, I'm just trying to save up money and invest. And I don't care what that looks like or means, I don't care how people judge me for that, that's my mission for this period in life. When you don't follow these matrix systems, trust me, this is true. A degree is seen as prestigious. You go to a university, most of you guys will probably have been. There's nothing special about a degree, not really. Nothing special about it at all. Anyone can get one. You don't need to be some internet whiz or mathematical genius. They're very, very accessible for a large number of people. That's a big thing. A lot of jobs will now qualify for a mortgage. So that's one example of the fact that that's perhaps not as... Basically, you follow these systems and the matrix, as it's called, is set up in a way to reward you or give you more social status. But then you think about who you're really impressing. Because a lot of these guys who seem to do this are not happy with their results. I know people who've done it. I know people who've bought the new car and they're now in debt for the next, 5 years? 10 years? For a stupid car? Now, like I say, I bought a car where the depreciation is long gone. It's probably going up in value now because it's very, very rare and very, very old. But I'm not going to look at it as an appreciating asset. But the point is this. By the time you've paid off that stupid car, number one, it's not going to be cool anymore because it's not now the new Audi, it's the old Audi. Think about this, for example. If you would have bought, speaking of Audi, RS5 racing past. Like I've said this before, as a car fan, I shouldn't film videos next to a highway because it's very distracting. Anyway, I'll give you an example from Mercedes, and I don't know if this is going to be valid to you guys. If you're not car fans, probably not. The old, if you'd have bought a 10-year finance plan, you would be driving around in a 10-year-old Benz. So 2024, let's say you had a 2014 car. What is that? Is that a W224 C-Class or C63 AMG? I might be wrong on the code there, but you know what I mean. The 6.3 litre V8, probably one of the best muscle cars ever made in my opinion. But the point is, it's 10 years old. That's fine, but you see what I mean? This is how much of a trap it is. And I've really shouldn't have gone into that. That's too much about cars, but you get the point. That's just one example of a stupid payment that most people will find themselves trapped in. Now, not everyone's is going to be 10 years plus, admittedly, but you get the point. Mortgage. That area could change for the better, could change for the worse. To be fair, it could. And again, location flexibility as a young person, I think, is a big deal. Now, as a generation, it seems that a lot of us are going against the matrix. I know so many young people who just don't care. And I know a lot of people will say, well, then you're never going to afford a house. Then you're never going to afford a car. You're going to look back on this and feel a lot of them do not care. Wrongly or rightly. I'm just being a messenger. A lot of people like to sort of penalise me for it. I'm just a messenger. I'm not even saying it's true for me. A lot of these young people know that they won't be able to afford this and that. They don't want it. They don't want the house and the 3.5 kids or 2.5 kids or the wife and a lot of these guys want to live by themselves on a beach in Thailand or do the job that they love versus the job that gets them status. Or, you guys know what I mean, right? A lot of people, less and less people are following the Matrix. Still a lot of people are, and for most people it's probably the best path, because I've said this before, a lot of you guys have this overly romanticized concept of what being a business owner looks like. As someone who's starting to make money from business online, most of you don't want it and can't hack it. You will not enjoy being a business owner 1%. So for a lot of yous, don't do it. But at the same time, there are going to be genuine people watching this who the typical Matrix doesn't work for, if we're honest. Or who it shouldn't work for. The sort of people who will follow this system and it will lead them to a life of misery. And I know some people will say, well, then you can own a house. What value does that have to most people? What value does a job have to most people? Most of you guys are probably not fulfilled by your jobs. You might say, well, it pays the bills. 2025 coming up, right? There's people making millions online. There's people making a fraction of that online. There's people making hundreds of pounds of dollars online. I don't know. People get mad when I say you need X amount of money to live in X place. It's an example, so I'm not going to give a figure. But potentially £1,000 to £2,000 of dollars a month is a nice life in some countries that are better in terms of lifestyle for a lot of you guys. So a lot of people are going away from the typical systems, I think. I think this is undeniable. And I think it's worth mentioning or noting that there is apparently, and I say apparently in the sense that we can see it, a system or a set of systems that are predestined paths. Any young person setting out in life should think about what they want. The system is designed in a way that you will be racking up a ton of debt before age 30, 35. Some of it may be good debt, some of it may be bad. You guys can decide. You do what you want with your life. Don't judge me. Do what you want, right? I say that in a jarring way because obviously, as you can imagine, you get a lot of comments, people saying good things, people saying bad things. I don't care. I am living my life. Yes, I'm making videos, so perhaps in these videos I am more subject to judgment, fair enough, but a lot of you guys, or a lot of guys in the comments, seem to have an overly like an overemphasized stake in my future. And that's nice in a way, but also you're not happy yourself, so don't tell me what to do, right? I don't want your life, you don't want mine. Happy days. And a lot of you guys give great advice, so please don't think I'm saying that to everyone. But here's my point. Certain people will have you following this system for the rest of your life, and you're not questioning it. You get a degree. You're told to get a degree. What job can you get with your degree? Is an art degree the best career for anyone? If I want to be an art designer or a fashion designer, is an art/fashion design degree even best for that? Really? I don't know if it is or isn't. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Do I need a brand new car? Can I get away with travelling on the bus? Yes, I'll look a lot less cool, but I'm saving like £1,000 a month. Some of these guys, trust me, they are spending that on cars. Or, can I get away with driving not like this? You don't want this car, because this car is old and it will break and it will cost a lot. But can you get not a 20-year-old car, or like me, a 30-year-old car? Can you get a 10-year-old car? I know that you can get a very decent runner. Yes, it's not going to be the looks. Yes, it's not going to be whatever. But when you drive a big old car like this, trust me, you get about 6, 7, 8 miles per gallon. It's not worth it for a lot of you guys. So a lot of yous don't want this, or a lot of yous don't need this. And some of these things you can follow. All of these things you can follow if it's what makes you happy or what makes you feel validated. But a lot of yous do not want to be getting yourself into literally the system of hundreds of thousands of pounds of debt. Hundreds of thousands of pounds in student loans, in mortgages, in car payments, in credit card debt, I almost swore on the channel there, on stuff that you don't need. You'd be better off spending that money on investments, putting it towards investments. You'd be better off, there's a lot of things you'd be better off doing, to be fair. And I mean, and obviously that is just my humble opinion on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can at least think. Why does nobody think? Well, I'll tell you the answers as to why. Because we're in a world that encourages us not to. Someone gets rich from our debt, right? Because it's all got interest on it. Someone's benefiting from the systems in place, and it's not you. A lot of the time, it's not you. It's not me, it's not you. Think about what you're buying, think about why you're buying it, and who wants you to buy it as well. There is undeniably something there, a system there, I would say, that is set up to keep you at a certain path, a certain point, a certain place. And the heightened or most high level of achievement is going to be the height of this system. And I don't know many people, maybe there are some who get genuinely rich or wealthy from a 9-to-5 or a job or a whatever. You got to do things differently if you want different results, but obviously we're in a system that discourages that. Yeah, discourages it. Anyway, you know what? The night is, in fact, no, it's not the night at all. It's 45 minutes past 4 in the afternoon. But winter time in England, the vision of night has gotten too large for us to carry on filming. Another day's episode's filmed, guys. Thank you for sharing your evening with me. I appreciate it. If you found something useful here, if you learned something, obviously let me know. If it was a load of nonsense, let me know. If I don't know what I'm talking about, let me know. If you think it's good or interesting, subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you soon.